that you had a wonderful weekend. Well, it's a brand new working week, and it's my prayer for you that whatever job you find yourself doing, you will chalk all the beautiful successes that you dream for yourself. If you are into stealing, well, I don't wish you any success in that very one. Now, before I tell you what it is we want to talk about here on Love 99.5 on the diary today, well, there's a job opening somewhere. There's a vacancy somewhere. So for those of you who are looking for a job, well, let me tell you about it. It's a reputable basic school that is requiring the following. First of all, head of school, and the person should be a female. Qualifications, degree in basic education with 2 years and above experience. Age should be 26 years and above. Teachers are also needed for the basic school. Qualification, a minimum of a diploma. 3, supervisor for private security. Now, qualification, a minimum of a diploma in marketing, management, or related field. Age, the person should be 30 years and above and must possess a valid driver's license, either vehicle or motor. Now, if you're interested, you can call 0237 326258. The number again is 0237 326258. If you want to be a head of a school or you think that you have the ability to teach, well, there's a vacancy somewhere for you. Just call that number and talk to them. Now, we're here this afternoon, like we often do on a Monday, to talk about something that concerns many people in their relationship, in their love life. Now, oftentimes when we're talking about abuse in relationships, we hear people talk about physical abuse. But abuse comes or goes beyond the physical. There's a verbal abuse, the emotional abuse, the sexual abuse, and many more. But this afternoon, we would like to focus our lenses and attention on the verbal and also the emotional. Emotional and verbal abuse are things that some partners use in their love life that is killing slowly the other partner. Now, what surprises or amazes me is the fact that although they are in that kind of relationship and they're suffering these forms of abuses, they don't voice out. They keep it to themselves. So question is, why do people even keep some of these things to themselves? So let me ask, between the three, or amongst these three, which one can't you stomach? Which one can't you stand? The physical abuse, the emotional abuse, the verbal abuse, which one would you not tolerate in your relationship? Physical, verbal, or emotional? Well, we want to talk about the emotional and the verbal abuse. What brings about all this? Is it normal in a relationship? And how, if it is not normal, how can we do away with it? Now, even for somebody who's undergoing such abuse, what is a way forward for that individual? This and more is what we have for you right after this. Please don't go away. But we have our post also on Facebook. We're streaming live actually on Facebook. So for those of you who can make time, you can join us on Facebook and watch us live on Facebook. But if you don't have the time, don't worry. You can also log on and then add your thoughts, your contributions, and of course your questions to the subject for conversation. We shall read them out and get you some answers if need be. My name is David AKUETTEH. When I return, I will introduce to you the panel and our conversation will begin.
Oh, this gate. Hey, Mr. Techi, please come and help me open my gate. I beg you. What is wrong with this gate? You know, this is the second time I've changed this gate after the thieves broke into my shop 2 months ago. When I open it, it always gets stuck in the middle here. I don't know why. I'm even tired of it.
Paco, I've always been telling you, never compromise on quality. You see, I've been using my roller shutter gate for the past 10 years, and I have never had any problems with it because I got it from Donima Steel Complex. Donima Steel Complex provides quality roller shutter gates at affordable prices. They are of high quality and impossible to break in. That's not all. They have the manual and automatic gate systems, which are ideal for warehouses, domestic stores, and garages. And they are installed by professionals without any extra charges.
Had I known.
Don't had I known, yeah. Locate Donima Steel Complex at Asafo, YF Junction, near the Ghana Revenue Authority office, or call 0244 126 625. Donima Steel Complex, home of tropical products.
The great thing about life is that we are all different and we are free to enjoy life's different flavors everywhere. Under the blazing sun or during a fun night out with a crew, it doesn't matter because at that moment, all you need to do is reach for a Club Mineral to turn up the sweet, bitter, bubbly, spicy or tangy flavor. Whether Club Orange, Club Cola, Club Muscatella, Club Soda or Club Tonic, there's a flavor for everyone. Turn up the flavor. Club Minerals, there's a flavor for everyone.
Send Central University, Ghana's premier private university, announces February admission in progress at the Kumasi campus. All qualified students are invited to check their eligibility for on-the-spot admission. Programs offered include business courses, theology for both undergraduate and master's programs, including an executive master's. There is also a newly introduced program in law at the Kumasi campus. You can walk in at CCC Eija campus behind the Tech Police Station or come to the forecourt of Love FM for an on-the-spot admission. Central University, raising transformational leaders.
In life, we have a choice.
To look for a way or to make our own way. Professional women need Pro Woman, which contains evening primrose, starflower oil, and other carefully selected ingredients which give you a healthy skin, hair, nails, and regular undelayed monthly cycle.
Proman is a specially developed multivitamin enriched with essential vitamins, L-carnitine, Siberian ginseng, and amino acids, which give a boost to your immune system and increases your performance at work. With Proman
and Pro Woman, we have the power to make our own way.
Proman and Pro Woman give you health and vitality for an active lifestyle.
Solely imported and marketed by NS Chemist Limited.
So we're back and we'd like to say thank you very much for staying with us. This is Love 99.5 and my name is David AKUETTEH. I'm bringing to you the diary this afternoon here on this very beautiful station, and of course we, as we often do, would be activating the phone lines later on and you can be part of the conversation. Now, are you in a relationship? Are you enjoying it or enduring it? Now, many people who find themselves in love relationships also go through some form of abuse. It could be physical, it could be emotional, or even verbal, and there are a few others as well. But oftentimes when we talk about abuses in relationships, we often talk about the physical abuse. Putting behind, the scene, let me put it that way, the emotional and the verbal. Now, what is emotional abuse? What is verbal abuse? How does it affect partners in relationships? Now, are you suffering emotional abuse by a partner? How are you handling it? How does it affect you? What about verbal abuse? Does he or she verbally abuse you, make you feel like you're nothing, like you're dirt? Well, we're talking about it this afternoon, and so let's share ideas. Now, between physical, verbal, and emotional abuse, which one can you not stomach? Which one can you not stand? Now, with me in the studios this afternoon is Auntie Mimi, but most of you also know her as Mrs. Aqua, and she's right here. Mommy, I call her. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And how are you doing?
I'm fine, by the grace of God, and good afternoon to our listeners also.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for making time to join us. Now, I have got Mr. Yayira Goka. Now, Yayira Goka is also a lecturer at the Gimpa Kumasi, school, and he is right here in the studios with me as well. Yayira, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, David.
Hope you're well.
Yes, I'm doing just fine.
Your weekend?
It was great.
Good for you.
Yes.
Good for you. Shortly, we shall be joined by, another, panel member. He's a brother here, and I'm talking about Erastus Asari Donko. He'll be joining us shortly to be part of this very conversation. But let me start off by, throwing the very first question at you, Auntie Mimi. Now, oftentimes when mention of abuse, in relationships comes up, we often talk about the physical abuse. The physical abuse. Now, how come that emotional abuse or verbal abuse is often put behind? It is not really put out there, amongst the ones that are really hurting people and causing problems for them. Is that to suggest that emotional and verbal abuse is a less form of abuse?
Thank you, David. I think that emotional abuse, verbal abuse is so much ingrained in our culture, in our psyche, in our society, so much so that we fail to even recognize it. I was just Googling what emotional abuse is, and I'm really astounded. It's like we are undergoing abuse and we are being abused all the time. Almost all of us are guilty of emotional abuse at one time or the other, between partners, between teachers, children, between even young people, from parents to children. We are always doing it. And it's like, let me say, sexual harassment. When we talk about sexual harassment, all of us in Africa think it's a foreign thing. But we've kind of become so used to it that it's hurting us and we are not realizing it. It includes things like bullying, intimidation, even what we lovingly call the silent treatment, ignoring the person, trying to call them names, talking about them to other people, sharing intimate information about your partner to other people, knowing that the individual knowing that you've shared such a thing will hurt him. And shouting at them. We are doing it all the time. In fact, I am really appalled. I think it's more insidious. It's something that is happening all the time, and we have kind of warmed up to it, but we have not been able to deny the effects whatsoever.
We'll talk about the effects and all. But having made mention of the fact that it's become part of art somewhat, is that to suggest that it's part of a love relationship? I mean, where you emotionally hurt each other, where sometimes out of something that has happened, somebody verbally abuses the partner and all that. Has it become part of us? Is it part of love life?
No, the point I'm trying to make is that it shouldn't be part of our love life, but we've done it so much so that almost everybody is accepting it, that it is part of it, but it should not be. It should not be part of our love lives.
It shouldn't be part of our love lives.
It should not be.
Yeah, do you agree?
That it should not be part of our love life?
Because human as we are, you're in a relationship, and at one point in time, the person might hurt you. Now, when we are hurt, people express that hurt in different kinds, in different forms, in different ways. Some, like I said in the initial stage, would apply physical, assault on the person if they think that they can. I know women who would easily raise their hands and slap their partner, and because they think that a man is a man, and therefore when you slap him, he will not retaliate or respond or reply. So they do it sometimes. The men sometimes would also hit the women. Sometimes they would physically, verbally and emotionally abuse their partners and all that. And based on what she said, that we have done it over and over and over again. It's become part of us. That's why I'm asking that question.
I believe one of them, out of the three, one of them will be part of relationships.
One of them will be part of relationships. Yes. Which one is that?
The emotional abuse.
Emotional abuse is to you acceptable?
Yes, the reason is that if you pick the other two, i.e. physical abuse and verbal abuse, the effects of those other two are irreversible.
The effects?
That's right.
All right, so
if I hit you and you got blind in one eye, it's irreversible. The other one, so I've spoken about the physical one.
The verbal.
The verbal one. If I say those harsh words to you, very hurting words, they'll remain in your mind, and you can always remind me of those words that I used against you. How I insulted your parents, how I insulted you. So, but for the emotional one, if I choose to be cold, naturally, I'm happy you mentioned that. Two calabashes cannot be on water and never touch each other. Definitely, we will hurt each other. So I feel that in place of hitting that person, in place of verbally abusing that person, maybe it could be written or oral, either sending that harsh WhatsApp message or saying it to the person. You may choose to be quiet. You may choose to be withdrawn for a while. It's better to keep quiet than to go hit that person or say words that you cannot take.
So when you say you are quiet, what exactly are you making reference to here? So what? You don't talk to the person even when the person is speaking to you?
Oh, you talk to the person, but you will not be as naturally lively as she knows you to be, or he or she knows you to be.
Why would you do that? And what is that supposed to achieve?
It only goes to express your unhappiness with the situation.
Why don't you open up and tell the person about your unhappiness about the situation?
Normally, that emotional approach follows after you indicate. I will say that is how it's supposed to be. You should let the person know, because somebody offends you, the person may not even know that what he or she did is offensive to you. So yes, the first point, communication, you've got to let that person know Yes, naturally you'll be sad. You may not be as lively immediately as you always are. And in my home, we have a principle. If we have issues, it shouldn't travel beyond 48 hours.
So within 48 hours,
your attitude should come back to normal.
You can give your cold treatments and all.
That's right.
but is that to suggest that, during emotional, abuse doesn't leave any hurt, doesn't leave any scars, any memorable scars? Is that what you're saying? Because is that when you hit somebody, the person could lose an eye, and so therefore it's permanently with the person. He or she would recall each and every time he sees, that scar.
Yes.
You talk about the verbal abuse, and you can use some words at your partner that will register in his or her mind that at a point in time, he or she can recall.
Yeah.
I think that emotional abuse doesn't leave any such scars.
What do you really want to be remembering about me getting withdrawn for a while, me being unhappy for a while?
But you're not communicating well with the person. The person talks to you, you don't answer or respond appropriately. And you think that that doesn't hurt the person, doesn't make the person look foolish and feel foolish?
I will talk to you. Well, in my case, I'll talk to you. I'll answer the question. But I wouldn't be as lively.
You don't smile, you don't laugh, you don't raise conversations.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a human being.
Auntie Mimi. He says he's a human being.
I wanted to say, oh, you are. That is what I was just referring to. We have all now become so used to it, and we think it is our right, to discipline the person and show the individual that I am hurt. So I have every right to show it. Yes, that is true. We all get angry, we react. So I'm asking myself the question: when does it become abuse? When it becomes more of a pattern? And when you intentionally use it to demean the other person and show the other person where power lies.
It's not to drum home a point.
To drum home a point. What kind of
not necessarily
point?
To demean, but if, for example, something has happened.
It is abuse. When you intend using it to demean the person and show the individual where power lies. You know that I am the one who controls, finances in this house. If you continue to do this, I'm withdrawing your money. Okay, you may be angry and withdraw it once. You see the effects and you are so happy about it. So you continuously hit on that area because you know that is what will hurt the person most. So when you continuously do that, it becomes abuse. But when you are angry, and I like the point about not being angry, not keeping an issue for 48 hours, I am assuming that after the 48 hours, you are not going to continuously drum home the effects of whatever it is that has even been resolved, you see. So when it happens like that, we all have ways of managing conflicts. That's okay. But when it becomes a tool, like, oh, I need money from my partner. He's not giving it to me. And I know that when I deny him sex for 2 weeks, whatever I say, he will shake and will give it to me. So every now and then, when you need something and it's not coming, you know the tool to use. Denial of sex, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 4 months, until that is abuse. But if you are not feeling well...
But the silent treatment itself, how much of an abuse is it? How much does it hurt?
It's more of isolating the person. The person is trying to engage, and you neglect. It's like abandonment, emotional abandonment. So the person is in the house and she is alone because you are not engaging. Maybe if the person is one of those types of people, she will also disengage, and then there will be tension in the home. Fine. But if this is something that we constantly use as a conflict, management style, then it becomes abuse on the part of the person who always has the upper hand.
But what if that is a way that enables you to manage a situation? The person does something to hurt you, and you're not the abusive type, the physical abusive type, so you don't want to throw a hand or throw a punch. Again, like, Yayara was saying, you wouldn't also want to use some words at the partner where later on you're like, I'm sorry for using those words, I didn't mean them, I was hurt and I said them, blah blah. So in order not to raise a finger or a hand, in order not to use any word or words that you would regret later, let me just give the silent treatment.
Yes, you see, the thing about abuse is that the individual doing the abuse, the abuser, is always in denial. I'm not abusing anybody. No, I've not done anything against the person. Have I hit you? Have I told you you are a fool?
No.
What have I done to you? I'm just keeping to myself. I'm sitting somewhere minding my own business. But you know that maybe if your partner is a talkative or the partner has come, he really has something to talk to you about and he's all excited about it, then you just look at the person and if you are a Ghanaian, you just blink your eye, turn your head around and you drive the point home and you know exactly where you are hitting. Once in a while, fine. But if you are going to use it knowing how it hurts your partner, then it's turned into
Is it painful?
a form of
Is it
abuse.
painful? Is it hurtful?
It's more painful. It is more hurtful. In fact, it changes the individual much more than even verbal or physical abuse. Because this one is ingrained. It touches the very core of the individual. And sometimes they become intrigued. We say, he or she now begins to despise himself or herself, especially when we do it to our children. They now tend to despise themselves, and it's like, I'm not worth anything. I can't even make amends when something happens. Now that this thing has happened, like you become somebody who is unimportant in the house for God knows how long, depending upon the people, 2 months, 1 day, 3 days, and it really hurts individuals, and people become withdrawn. How are you? We are fine. And a whole lot of things are going through their minds because in the home or in the relationship that the individual is in, she's been made to think as if she is nothing. And nothing has been said. There's no evidence left. So she doesn't even have anything to say about it. It blows your mind. It gives you depression. It's more dangerous.
It's more. Do you agree? Because I have heard people, for example, say that I would rather prefer my partner hitting me or verbally assaulting me than to hurt me emotionally. I mean, give me the silent treatment and all. Have you heard such a thing before?
Well, I have, but I think it's a matter of choice.
Whose choice?
Whoever is preferring the physical abuse to the other option.
Emotional, okay.
I have always believed in sanctions as a mechanism for social control. Actually, when we talk about sanctions, many people think about the negative sanctions, i.e. punishment. Sanctions could be positive, it could be reward. Just as I can reward you, I can praise you if you do the right thing as a way of encouraging you to keep doing the right thing. I believe that if that person does the wrong thing, there should be a way you, express that feeling as a way of giving the person the signal. Beyond talking about it, I give you the signal that this thing really affects me, in the hope that will make you not exhibit.
But are you aware that the emotional, abuse also affects your partner?
My brother, the point is that...
Are you aware it affects your partner?
It does.
Do you care?
When she feels it.
Do you care about it?
When he feels it.
Yes, do you care about
it? You get the change you need.
Second?
I do.
You know that it's hurting the person?
Yes.
How comfortable are you knowing that behavior...
You are not comfortable.
But yet you're doing it.
And she's not comfortable.
Yet you're doing it.
So what we should be worried about is... Now, teaching at the senior high school, my students used to be worried about why WAEC will be too harsh, cancelling their papers if they engage in so and so act. And I say that rather than getting too worried about why WAEC will be putting in place these mechanisms, why don't you get too worried about you ensuring that you do not engage in those things?
Don't fall prey to whatever WAEC is against. Now, when you're having this silent treatment, when you're hurting your partner emotionally, will you take it outside? If, for example, you have visitors, would you still give your partner the co-treatment? If, for example, you have attend a wedding, a funeral, some engagement, and you go together, will you still carry it on?
Never.
But when you come back home, you continue it.
I am hoping that...
No. When the silent treatment is on, you go out. You say that you go out, you don't exhibit it. You play normal with your partner. But what about when you come back home? You go back to the silent treatment?
Definitely, as you go, as you go out there, I'm sure by the time the program closes and you guys come back home, you should be fine.
You should be fine.
Yes.
But some people are not fine. Erastus joins us, and he's been quietly seated for some time now. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, David.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
I'm sure you've been following the conversation.
Oh, I'm enjoying it.
All right. So, which one appalls you? The physical, the verbal, the emotional abuse, forms of abuse.
Well, if he slaps you, then you know he doesn't like you. He can even hurt you more. So then you find a solution. But if he doesn't, and he takes you to through the silent treatment, that's the worst form of punishment.
Worst form of abuse.
Yes.
Wow.
Anybody at all can give you. You saw how Mommy described it. It's killing your inner being. You know, it's like a double-edged sword in your flesh, and it's killing you within. Because one, you don't even know what he's planning. You don't know what is in his mind or her mind. You don't know why he's doing that. You don't know what is wrong, and so it's a daily torture. You go around thinking all manner of things, and it's so much work. It drains you of so much energy, because then you don't know. If you knew, then you fashion a solution.
But why don't you ask, if the person is giving you the silent treatment or hurting you emotionally, why don't you ascertain from that person, listen, what have I done?
Yeah.
And then if the person is matured enough,
yeah,
he or she will tell you what it is you've done wrong.
Yeah.
And then if you need to apologize, you apologize and you move on.
Thank you. It's as easy as done. If he who is planning to hurt you knows what he's doing. You know, some people intentionally take you through that mental torture because of what they want to achieve. And so constantly you keep asking this person, what have I done? And they tell you everything is all right.
Meanwhile, they're giving you the silent treatment. So pry further, probe further. If everything is all right, why this behavior?
David, if we can prove further and get it at the end at the tip of our fingers, then it wouldn't be a punishment. You see, the person is not telling you, intentionally not telling you why he's feeling that way or she's feeling that way. I've asked several ladies this question, and they say, some can't be brave. I say, one yeah. You see, and because I've said it several times and he's not responding, so I just have to keep quiet.
He's not changing, or he's not responding?
He's not changing. So
Okay.
I just have to keep quiet. And in keeping quiet, he's not telling you what's wrong with her, and he's not telling you what's wrong with him. And so he wants to punish you with that silent torture.
Why don't people avoid them? I mean, if somebody's giving you the silent treatment, you have asked once or twice and the person is not telling you what exactly you've done wrong.
Yeah.
Let the person be. Live your life.
You see, with me.
Why should it hurt you?
With me.
Yeah.
I said it, that whatever you do to me, I'll do the exact same to you.
Equal measure or more.
Because I have told you that if you are worried, I'm not a soothsayer. I'm not a spiritual being. I can't read people's minds. Okay. So if something bothers you, tell me. If you think I've offended you, you said it for the first time, I didn't. Keep on repeating it. Treat me like a child. Keep on repeating it. Keep on saying it. Drum it into my head, and I will change. Change doesn't come in a day.
Being treated like a child too is listed as abuse.
But this one, you keep on. You see, when you keep on saying it, and suddenly it becomes a norm with me. And so the moment I'm going to do it, whether I'm doing it intentionally or unintentionally, the moment I see you, I stop. Gradually, I'll get there. But you see, when you keep silent and you say you're using silence to torture me, it will bring me back, then you are worsening the problem, because then I don't know how many of those things I have done, the ones you are referring to with that silent treatment, whether it was the other day one that I did or today's own, or perhaps the last week's own. How would I know? And so you will not achieve anything with it. You're just wasting your time. So when I try severally and you are not giving me the reason why you're doing that, then I keep silent. And I will treat you with an equal measure. In fact, my silence will be so loud, you'll get out of your own.
Louder than the person?
Yes. I think that's one thing to get people out of their doldrums. So they are not talking. Continue, ask. For me, I'll ask, what is wrong with you? Sometimes I will even take you out, pamper you small, and then try to find out. Sometimes I even go to the extent of even saying sorry when I don't know what I have done. And then I will say, oh, please, if I have done anything wrong, let me know. still, if you prefer to go that way, and I keep still seeing the signs that you are okay, then I start also treating.
At what point do you stop yours or end yours?
I'll not end mine until I see you coming out.
No, when the person has stopped hers,
yes,
or you're a guy, so the person has stopped hers.
So when you stop yours,
then you automatically stop yours.
When you stop yours, then I automatically stop mine, and then we come together. And then you see, when women come out of those silent treatment, then they begin to spill the beans. They are so happy with them. So I don't know why. With the moment they come out, then they start spilling the beans. Then they start talking about then they start talking. Then we solve our problem and move on. Then I'll let you know that is not a very good weapon. Don't use it again.
Mommy, before I ask a question, what do you want to say based on what you've heard so far? hearing Yaya, for example, say that he can give you the silent treatment and hurt you emotionally. But when you step out of the home, well, they don't want friends to get to know about it. But when you come back home, some people, not him, but some people continue that same kind of behavior.
It shouldn't. You see, we all have these kind of differences. It doesn't matter the level of maturity. So when we get the opportunity to get outside the home, then we should just abandon it. When we come back home, if you are mature enough to be able to hide it in front of friends and family and at the workplace, wherever, church. Then when you come back home, don't go back to it. But now that we have behaved as if nothing is happening, when we come back home, it's like the gate has already been opened, and now we can start talking about it from then. We don't have to go back to it. Otherwise, then it's like we are like children. We go around and we have our issues and we smile. So normally, for instance, when we got married at first and we used to have issues like that, and somebody knocks on the door, it's like salvation coming. When the person comes, we all behave as if nothing has happened. Now, when the person leaves, because of the truce, the time of cooling that has passed, 15 minutes, 1 hour, 3 hours that the person spent with us, it helps us, to, as it were, temper our emotions, cool down our tempers, begin to see things more rationally.
Until you have a friend come through or a relation come through who spend 15 to 3 hours with you, that can enable you, let's say, put it behind you. How do you handle it? It's a question I will look for an answer from you and the other members here.
Okay.
But, for the past 12 years, New Generation Investment Services Limited, a leading investment firm, has guided thousands of institutions and retail investors to make millions in secure portfolio investments. New Generation Investment Services Limited is licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission and the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. They offer Treasury Bill Plus features for products like fixed deposits, premium investments, childcare investments, and Diamond Plus investment plans. They also manage Tier 2 and Tier 3 pension funds, as well as the Nidasu Mutual Fund, the very first collective investment scheme to be established outside Accra. Talk to their seasoned investment advisors for a structured investment portfolio. Visit them at the first floor, Kokobo Jubilee House. It's at Idum, Kumasi, and also you can find them on the second floor, Abosmako 3 House, that's near Coco House at Sonyani. Visit the website www.ngis-group.com for more information. Call them on 03220-91608 or 0352-197-482. New Generation Investment Services Limited, achieving excellent returns on your investment. Now, Central University, Ghana's biggest private university, is inviting applications from qualified students for the 2017-2018 February admissions. Now, prospective students can come to Love FM from today, the 19th. They are here. 19th of February to the 24th of February for on-the-spot admissions. Come with a copy of your result slip or any other relevant document. So as you listen to us, you can come by right now and engage with them. The undergraduate programs on offer include Faculty of Arts and Social Science, where they have BA in Psychology, Sociology, Social Work, Communication Studies, Environment and Development Studies, French, English, and BSc Economics. Now, the Central Business School has BSc Management Studies, Agribusiness Management, Banking and Finance, BSc Business Administration with options in Marketing, Human Resource Management, and Accounting. The School of Architecture and Science has Nursing, Physician Assistantship, Civil Engineering, Architecture, Computer Science, and Information Technology. The School of Pharmacy has Bachelor of Pharmacy, Faculty of Law, Bachelor of Laws. School of Theology and Missions has BA Theology, Family, Counseling, Christian Education, and Church Administration. The graduate programs available also include MBA Finance, MBA Marketing, and MBA General Management, and Executive Masters in Leadership and Governance, Master of Arts and Master of Philosophy in Religious Studies, amongst others. So visit our Kumasi campus. It's at KNUST Police Station near the CCC. Now for further information, kindly call 0271 218986 or 0248 401719. You can even send them a WhatsApp message to 0233313180. Central University, raising transformational leaders. This is Love 99.5. You're listening to The Diary. Our conversation this afternoon, well, oftentimes when we talk about abuse in our love lives, in our love relationship, we often center on physical abuse. But there are other forms of abuse, like the emotional abuse and the verbal abuse. Now, the emotional abuse is when, for example, the person decides to give you a silent treatment. When you talk to the person, he or she doesn't respond appropriately, or the person does things that hurt you emotionally. Now, I have heard loads of people say that to give them that emotional turmoil or take them through it, they would rather prefer that you beat them or even verbally abuse them. What is the situation like in your relationship? Is it all good? Or he or she is abusing you verbally sometimes, that makes you uncomfortable, or even abusing you emotionally, which of course hurts you to the core. Now, how do you handle it? What do you do? Do you live with it? One of the questions, for example, is why do people or some people suffer in silence although all this is happening to them? We'll be right back and we'll talk some more. Please do not go away.
You are great, yes, you are.
The Word of God is a strong foundation, a rock that keeps us standing through the storms of life and exposes our innermost thoughts and desires. Join the International Central Gospel Church Trinity Temple, Kwadaso, every Sunday from 8 to 10:30 a.m. as we help you discover your purpose through life-transforming messages. Remember, the proof of a desire is in its pursuit. Don't miss our weekly services on Wednesdays and Fridays from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Your life will never be the same.
Say you are great. You are great. Say you are great. You are great. Everything about you is
For the past 12 years, New Generation Investment Services Limited, a leading investment banking firm, has guided thousands of institutions and retail investors to make millions in secure portfolio investments. New Generation Investment Services Limited is licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission and the National Pension Regulatory Authority. We offer Treasury Bill Plus fixtures for our products such as fixed deposits, premium investments, NGI's childcare investment, and Diamond Plus investment plans, as well as manages Tier 2 and Tier 3 pension funds. NGI's Limited also manages the Enidaso Mutual Fund. Talk to our seasoned investment advisors now and we will structure an investment portfolio for you. Visit us at first floor Kokobo Jubilee House, Adum Kumasi, and second floor Abosoma Kotre House near Cocoa House, Sunyani, or our website www.ngis-group.com. Call us in Kumasi on 03220-91608 or in Sunyani on 0352-197-482. New Generation Investment Services Limited, achieving excellent returns on your investments.
Remember no passadia me fam casa for me promi engine mo. That's just the enconkwa. Maniche ultimate fashions. Any ultimate furniture city. Ultimate fashions. That's your money memengina. Na se me increase me swagger. Yes se me kwa designer shirts be to say. Ferdinando, Kenneth Cole, Max Fendi, Perry Jacobs. Any de keka ho bebre. Ningina minya bito. Ultimate back show Italian shoes, slippers and sandals. Khaki, any material trousers. Office, any wedding wear. For the ladies, ultimate with all kinds of American designer dresses. Say be a wedding our engagement and a dinner be or party be the old best shift through costume from our ultimate fashions what brand IGT will we be our ultimate be Ellen Tracy and Adriana Papel, Jones New York, Tahari, Casper, any baby. For today's perfect gentleman and lady, the only place to go are your ultimate fashions. Ultimate Furniture City. The furniture store be also say more living room furniture, bedroom sets, dining room sets, garden, any porch chairs. Actually, Ultimate Furniture City, catch on so because ultimate selection and the BNA plus 3 and your money is fair and your money is heavy and your money is class. obi round them na say what on your ultimate furniture city. And one way who dibre make a shini kute and basta whole looking funky. Messi and friendly ultimate qua. If it be binti, ultimate fashions and furniture city. Simply a touch of style. Medu ultimate ewedum Methodist in Chenwa.
We are back for the very final lap of the conversation on the diary this afternoon. Well, what we're talking about has to do with abuse. And we're talking about abuse in relationships, especially our love lives. And, you know, oftentimes when we talk about abuse, we often settle on physical abuse. But that's not the only form of abuse that, you know, is out there, that people are suffering. We can make mention of the emotional abuse and the verbal abuse. And so I don't know which one, you know, you are going through as we speak. Which one is affecting you? Which one is going on in your relationship? Now, aside from that, which one can you not stomach at all? Physical, verbal, or emotional? Which one would you not tolerate, you know, or stand in your relationship? Now, Auntie Mimi, during the break, we were having this conversation because it's something I raised before we went on that very break, and it has to do with the fact that many suffer in silence. The physical, well, once in a while, your face will be swollen, and even that they tell lies about it. The verbal, well, sometimes you know that Charlie would do a temper man call. To the sense of whom I make up a catch my message, I do my temper. But the emotional bit, nobody really sees it. It's not something that can really be seen at all. Why do people suffer in silence when abuse in any form is going on? I think
it's primarily because of fear. And if this thing has been going on for a long time, it erodes your own self-confidence. It makes you feel helpless, makes you feel powerless. And it's like, if I leave this relationship, what am I going to do? Especially in our society where if you are not married, whether male or female, but for the females, it's at an earlier age. But for a male, after 40 years, you are not married and you don't have a wife. You even want a position in the office. You want a political position. These kind of things goes against you. So it's like, what shall I do? Let me just take it like that, because after all, what is out there? So I think that people now have to develop more confidence in themselves. We need to feel empowered. Most of the time in some relationships, the abuser will not allow you to go out there. You don't have friends, you are isolated, you cannot work, you are financially being controlled. You are thinking about, even if you have a job, you are thinking that, oh, my kids go to a very good school now. If I leave the marriage now, they have to go to Saitoso. Let me
but the father still has responsibility to the kids.
Oh. Well, that's another topic altogether. So people stay in there because of fear. They lack the confidence to launch out on their own, and sometimes they lack the confidence to face up to their partners. You should be able to set boundaries and tell the individual that, Jack, next time you do this kind of thing again, I'm going to do, and it must be something realistic that you can actually do. Don't say I will work out. No, don't say I'll work out when you know you can't work out. Tell the person, next time you do this and that, I am going to do the. And most people who are abusers, they are bullies, and bullies are afraid of people who can stand up to them. How can I stand up to a person who is abusing me in a relationship? Build your confidence on all fronts: financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Take good care of yourself. Feel good about yourself. Make sure that you have something, saved somewhere, so that if it comes to the crux of the matter, you can actually say that I'm working out, I'm asking for a separation. You may not get there, but let the person know that you won't take just anything from him or her just because we are in a relationship. And God will help you.
Erasmus, people stay in there and die. Does it make sense to you?
Doesn't make sense.
People stay in there and are emotionally broken and all.
Yeah, but when you listen to, people have fears, and that's why people stay where they are.
But don't they forget that? Do they forget? Sorry, that even if they stay in there, when they die, the person still his life or her life still goes on.
That's the problem. But you see, when you are not within the problem, you don't understand the fear. And you don't understand the pain, and so it becomes illogical to you. But when you are facing it yourself, a whole lot of things rush through your mind. But what I keep on saying is that until you tell somebody about your pain, then you wouldn't get the confidence to even.
But what even shows? I'm sorry to banter with you like this, but what even shows that when whom you are going to talk to?
That's why I said somebody. So you knows who you can trust. But tell somebody. Tell somebody. If you think you're comfortable with your pastor, that's fine. If you think you're comfortable with somebody else, a family member or something, that's fair enough.
But what you're saying is that don't suffer in silence.
No.
And don't suffer alone.
It's a dangerous thing to do. Because then if he's killing you, you get to die and nobody will know what actually happened. So let somebody know. But again, be bold. Be bold and take a bold decision. When you are alive, you can take care of your children.
Or yourself.
And yourself. You will never know what kind of life you have outside that marriage. Even if the marriage, closes.
Yeah.
But then sometimes the marriage itself will not close when you are able to boldly voice out. Sometimes some of these people change. When you are bold enough to come out. I know of a woman who told her story of the husband, having sex with her through the other part. And she endured it for a very long time. It got to a point where she couldn't take it no longer. It gave her so many health problems. And then she came up to say, when it was at its late stage, and the guy has even moved on with another woman. You see, at this point, you are suffering. So be bold. When there's something that is going on, it is affecting the very existence of yourself, then it becomes a life and death issue. It's no longer what they call keep the marriage, you see, when you go out because of the children, blah, blah, blah. No. You don't have one life. So make sure it becomes a life and death affair, please. Well, either flee or tell somebody.
Christian Kudaya on Facebook.
Yes,
Christian Kudaya on Facebook says, well, Erastus, you always make sense. So you have somebody who will always vote for you.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to know.
Lionel Brisk Walker says, if we are to treat verbal and emotional abuse more seriously than we are doing now, it will drastically reduce the occurrence of physical harm or abuse. It is a fact that emotional and or verbal, let me take my time to get the rest of the message. Come on, where are you? Don't do this to me. Okay. Or verbal abuse are the basis for the infliction of most physical abuses in marriages and even relationships. Now, let me throw this one at you.
Yes, David.
So, physical abuse is wrong.
Yeah.
Verbal abuse is wrong.
Yes.
Somewhat you give a little thumbs up to emotional abuse, but you've given it 48 hours.
Yes.
How do we avoid any form of abuse in our relationship? Issues will come. How do we handle them? How do we manage them such that no form of abuse occurs?
I'm happy that we are all admitting that, yes, issues will come. And each of the parties will definitely get angry at a point in time, get emotional at a point in time. I seem to have given a little thumbs up for the other one, that is emotional abuse, because we need to recognize the fact that at the end of physical abuse, we find emotional abuse. If I hit you, at the end of the day, it's going to put you through that emotional torture. So there will be emotional abuse at the end of that physical abuse. There again, at the end of verbal abuse, if I insult you, I'm going to put you through that psychological trauma where you'll be thinking about those words. And so over there too, you end up in that emotional abuse. So rather than giving you two abuses, I'll give you a little of the one.
So you're still standing your grounds. Auntie Mimi, we want to avoid this in our relationships. So issues will rise. I mean, she will make you angry. He will make you angry. He will disappoint you. She will hurt you. All those things will come. But how do we avoid abusing each other?
I think we have to learn how to talk and talk effectively, talk constructively. So if something happens and you know you cannot talk rationally, maybe just go for a walk or something.
Isn't that where the silence treatment comes in?
That is it.
No, you go for a walk.
Okay, but when you come back...
You will be more calm, you'll be more composed. And I was telling Yaira that unless both of us think that we are breaking this relationship apart, then we will continue even after the period of truce. When something has happened or I've gone to work and come back. You know, some people fight, go to work 8 hours and come back and continue exactly from where they left off. Then we really want to break the relationship. But if we want to maintain the relationship, then I'm assuming that being rational as we want to be, by now, let me you will think about it, you will see the pros and the cons, and you will be willing to meet the individual halfway. I assume it will be the same for the other person. So even if it's not the same for the other person who has now calmed down will be able to now talk rationally, more quietly, be more understanding, like what Erastus was saying, be able to make overtures to try and introduce peace. And when that happens, unless we want to break the relationship, when you see that the other person is trying to introduce peace, please say whatever you have to say and accept it.
But you're saying whatever you want to say. It could be that the anger is still in there, the pain, the hurt is still in there. So in saying it, you might say it and it becomes a verbal abuse.
It becomes a verbal abuse.
Before you do, please ma'am, 0322083596. You can join our conversation now. What kind of relationship are you having? Are you being hurt emotionally, verbally, or physically? Which one can't you stand at all? Which one is a no-go cry for you? Yes, Anthony, I was saying that.
So I started off by saying we need to learn it. You see, we need to learn it. And for each group of people, each pair of people, for every partnership, it will be different. The style will be different. In trying to broker peace, it will be different. For some people, they will be quiet and watch television together, and the evening will end quietly. They won't even talk about it. But if there is this silent understanding that we are trying to broker peace, we are not talking. For some people, the individual will buy you something. A woman may cook your favorite meal. You need to understand that we have to stop somewhere.
You buy the thing and the person even throws it at your face or avoids it entirely.
Then the individual is not ready.
And it's not being matured then.
Exactly.
Hello,
that's the word I want to avoid using.
Salifu Isahaku. Salifu Isahaku. Hello, Salifu.
Come.
Oh boy. Salifu Isahaku, good afternoon. Hello. Hello. All right, so let me try this other line then. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, Sherry Daniel, good afternoon, welcome, let's hear you.
Thank you. I want to know if you are quiet about it and it does not help. Do you run or you keep on being there, talking, and one day he kills you?
All right, so Sherry, we'll give you a response. I think Erastus has an answer to that one for you.
Yeah, it depends on the issue at stake.
Well, so we'll talk about that one.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, let's hear you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dave. I'm enjoying your program so much, but I have a problem. You know, marriages differ. Marriages do differ. So sometimes one thing will work for one person, but the other person will not work. With all these emotional torture, especially with the emotional torture, if the men decide they are also going the same line with the women, then there will be no peace. But marriage is a game of sacrifice. One time you need to sacrifice for the other. No matter how long the person will give you that silent treatment, try to endure and try to get the good side of the person. Dwell on that and get the good side. You just want peace in the house. And by all means, the person is not just a wood, he's a human being. So with little things, you can get to the bottom. But if you think you are all going to get angry, do as you want, then there will be no peace. Especially when there are children inside. And the children will learn to copy. So every time one must sacrifice. And that's how marriage is.
Thank you very much, Agusa Tundu. But the question is, who then sacrifices? Well, because we all think that we have rights. Hello, Richard Oboku.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Let's say Richard.
Yeah, my sister, thank you very much. You said everything that I wanted to say. I mean, the last caller, she has done so well. Good afternoon to Doreen, Victor, and Prince of NHI as well. Dave, it's so hurting when you are being hurt emotionally. Emotionally, you hurt me. You know, sometimes people also do that as a defensive mechanism. They know you've not done anything. They know within themselves you've not done anything. They've rather done something wrong. And instead of accepting that they've done something wrong and apologize, they use that as a defensive mechanism. Just for you to, in fact, it's a sign of immaturity. That's how I see it.
Thank you very much, Richard Opoku. Reverend Acosta. Hello, Reverend Acosta. Reverend Acosta. Hello. All right, so let me move on. Reverend, sorry, I think you couldn't hear us. Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dave.
Mrs. Amankwa, welcome. Let's hear you, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, all the panelists. None of the above of what you said anyway. None. I'm not interested in emotional, physical, verbal, whatever. Proverbs 17:22 tells us that being cheerful keeps you healthy, and it is slow death to be gloomy all the time. So why should we inflict pain one way or the other on each other? Let us keep being bubbly, going like cheerful, happy. You know, the stepping on toes will come, but we should try and then move on.
I hear you, Mrs. Amankwa.
God bless us all.
And bless you too. Emilia.
Hello.
Welcome, let's hear you.
You see, listening to your conversation, sometimes it's not that maybe, like, if the person is speaking and then you are keeping quiet or something like that. But sometimes, in fact, what some guys will always do to you, if you are living, if you are with your partner, what he will always do to you, if she just raise up the hand and then she beats you, cramp, it will be better than what she's always doing. So I think with the silent thing, in fact, it's something that kills a lot. In fact, guys are
Thank you very much, Emilia. Reverend Acosta is on the line now. Good afternoon. Reverend Acosta. Hello, Rev. Sorry about that, Rev. Please forgive me. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes. Good afternoon, David.
Yes, Christopher of Adult Education Patasi. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yes, I think the devils have truncated Reverend's life.
No devil here, I beg you.
Okay, Dave, this whole thing about I know my rights in marriages. No wonder breakdown of marriages are on the ascendancy. And when one feels that he's doing the other a favor by marrying him or her, and the problem, somebody will even say that I pitied you and I married you. How can you make a comment like that? I pitied you and I married you. You don't pity people to marry them. It's based on love. So you should all satisfy your proudness, your arrogance, and your pomposity. When you do that, you will have a perfect marriage. So I want to tell all the married couples, that let's work to make sure our marriage stays.
I hear you.
Because divorce is not a good thing. God hates divorce.
That was Rashid. That was Christopher of Adult Education Patasi. Erastus, you want to respond quickly?
Not when consistently the person is using silence as a tool. You need to, at a point, make her understand that silence is not the way to go. So if that is by also going silent in protest, so you come to a consensus, that's fine. With Sherry Daniels, I would say it would depend on the issue at stake. I say flee when it turns violent.
Mommy, can I give you 15-20 seconds to wrap up for us?
I think every form of abuse is no good. We have to learn how, for the abuser, coping skills to manage our anger, our dissatisfaction at our partners. We have to find ways of better managing them rather than using those
abuse,
subtle forms of abuse.
I know you want to say something, but time is on my side. So thank you very much for your time, Erastus, and of course, Auntie Mimi. My name is David AKUETTEH. Bless all of you. Up next is sports.